Thanks for tuning in to this week's news recap. First headline, Aquaponic yield farming. If you've been watching this yield farming trend, wondering what exactly is going on, check out a recent post by Dan Elitzer of IDEO Collab Ventures called Aquaponic Yield Farming. He says, quote, lending and exchange protocols, particularly ones that utilize pooled liquidity and automated market makers, are naturally symbiotic. Lending protocols like Compound and Aave want large quantities of assets to be deposited in their liquidity pools to maximize loan availability while minimizing borrowing costs. Exchange protocols like Uniswap and Balancer want large quantities of assets to be deposited in their liquidity pools to maximize the potential size and volume of trades while minimizing slippage. They don't care whether the assets in their pools are receipts for loan collateral so long as there is sufficient unutilized liquidity in the lending pool to enable withdrawals as needed. Then he describes how people are earning from lending, using that money to yield from trading, and then making more money available for lending. Next headline. What effect do Coinbase listings have on listed assets? Coinmetrics did a detailed analysis of how Coinbase listings have impacted the prices of the listed crypto assets. Unsurprisingly, prices tended to immediately rise after the announcement, but the size of the increase does vary based on whether it's a bull or bear market. For instance, before its December 2018 announcement, most assets listed were dropping in price. Afterward, the assets saw price rebounds of, on average, 50% against Bitcoin. In August 2019, Bitcoin had just hit highs that July, but it started to trend down. For assets announced then, there was an immediate bump of 10%, but by 100 days out, many of the prices had dropped. And finally, for new assets announced in June 2020, the listing announcement was made as asset prices were trending upward after the sell-off in March. Afterward, asset prices continued to rise. Coinmetrics warns that the 132% pop that Omise Go saw after its listing announcement is an outlier, and the mean and median values for appreciation against USD, Bitcoin, and ETH are usually between negative 1% and 14%. Next headline. Wirecard, issuer of Crypto.com and 10x credit cards, files for bankruptcy. After $2.1 billion could not be accounted for on its books, Wirecard, the issuer of cryptocurrency payment cards for 10x and Crypto.com, has begun insolvency proceedings. Disclosure, Crypto.com is a sponsor of my podcasts. Wirecard CEO Marcus Braun also resigned and was then arrested but released on bail. Both Crypto.com and 10x say that their operations are unaffected for now. 10x told CoinDesk, quote, we are, however, monitoring the situation closely and are always evaluating the best options for our customers. And Crypto.com CEO Chris Marzalek tweeted that user funds have not been impacted, saying, quote, Wirecard does not have custody of any crypto held by Crypto.com. Next headline. Founder of anti-money laundering Bitcoin indicted for money laundering. The Department of Justice indicted Roland Marcus Andrade, the founder of AML Bitcoin and the NAC Foundation, on charges of money laundering and wire fraud. He allegedly raised funds by conducting an initial coin offering, trying to raise $100 million for AML Bitcoin. The NAC Foundation claimed in its white paper that AML Bitcoin would, quote, include features that would allow the cryptocurrency to comply with AML and Know Your Customer regulations and laws by using biometric technologies, among other methods to confirm the identities of participants in transactions using AML Bitcoin, the filing said. Also, Andrade, the NAC Foundation, and his associates claimed that they would have had an advertisement air during the Super Bowl if the National Football League had not rejected the ad for being too controversial. The filing alleges, however, quote, in fact, the NAC Foundation did not have the funds to purchase the advertising time, and the advertisement was never reviewed or rejected by the network or the NFL. Next headline. Telegram to pay SEC $18.5 million penalty. After a 6-month court battle with the Securities and Exchange Commission, Telegram has agreed to pay an $18.5 million penalty over its initial coin offering. The messaging platform will also notify the agency if it plans to issue a digital currency in the next years. Finally, Telegram is liable for a disgorgement of $1.22 billion, though that amount is credited and offset by $1.19 billion paid as termination amounts, according to the purchase agreement for Grams, as well as the amounts that some investors had loaned to Telegram previously. Next headline. SEC Chairman Jane Clayton nominated to federal prosecutor post. SEC Chairman Jay Clayton, who has a reputation for being somewhat unfriendly toward crypto assets, was nominated to be the next federal prosecutor in Manhattan. The result of the nomination process is uncertain, but the possibility of Clayton leaving the SEC has made some people in the crypto community hopeful that his successor could be friendlier to the industry. Time for fun bits! There were two fun bits this week. The first is Square Crypto puts sights on decentralized Bitcoin design. Square Crypto began a search for a unicorn Bitcoin designer, but decided to instead fund a decentralized Bitcoin design community. They've created a Bitcoin design Slack workspace and would like designers to contribute to a Bitcoin design guide and user experience research to Bitcoin Core, BTC Pay Server, and BISC. Plus, it's also created a grant program for designers. If you know of any designers who are interested in Bitcoin, spread the word. Second fun bits. Crypto for Black Lives Matter. Crypto for Black Lives launched a $45,000 matching pool for organizations supporting Black lives and racial justice. It takes crypto or fiat and can be found at cryptoforblacklives.com. There's also a $175,000 match of up to 10x on Gitcoin that ends July 3rd. People willing to match can let Crypto for Black Lives know how much you'd like to match and which organizations you'd like to match, while donors just need to upload receipts of donations. Crypto for Black Lives will match them as long as matching funds are available. And also, prior donations count. All right, well, thanks for tuning in. To learn more about Tony and yield farming, be sure to check out the links in the show notes of your podcast player. Don't forget, you can now watch video recordings of the podcast on the Unchained YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/c/Unchained podcast and subscribe today. One note before we head out. This is the last unconfirmed episode with Chris at Fractal Recording. He's been with me since day one of Unchained, which launched more than 4 years ago. He's been my rock for these shows, just beyond professional and dependable, and just an all-around pleasure to work with. Plus, he likes fractals, like me, which makes him really cool in my book. Chris, I'm going to miss you so much. Thank you for all you've done for me and my shows. I wish you all the best. Unconfirmed is produced by me, Laura Shin, with help from Fractal Recording, Anthony Yoon, Daniel Nuss, Josh Durham, and the team at CLK Transcription. Thanks for listening.